It's Wednesdays with Keegan, who is with the Jays in Houston, and the smoke has cleared, the dust has settled, the trade deadline has come and gone. And what is the feeling around that team? Are they thinking, okay, this is the group we're going with, or there's still some heavy hearts?
I think it's relieved, at this point. The example I always use, Dan, is that if you told one of us that like tomorrow we would have to wake up and move to Milwaukee or LA or Seattle for work, it would probably suck, right? So there's a lot of relief in that clubhouse. And it was an awkward deadline because it was not an obvious deadline. I know the Blue Jays were sellers. They did sell. They should have sold. But looking at players like Bieber and Springer and Scherzer who did stay, they're kind of on the line. Like Shane Bieber started the night of the trade deadline, and he was saying, like, I was kind of looking over my shoulder, waiting for Pete Walker to come and tap me, right? That's got to be a weird feeling. So there's relief. And I think there's a sense of, like, I don't want to call it a rah-rah, let's go shock the world and have a miracle type of thing. But there's a sense of, like, okay, like, the guys who are here are the guys who are here. Maybe we figure it out. You at least know who's going to be in your clubhouse every day. Unlike the last week, which was pretty uncomfortable. It's even the times where I would be standing in the clubhouse. I'm trying not to obviously be looking at my phone in front of guys because it's trade season. It's just weird, man. It's a weird time. And for anyone in the baseball world, from myself to players, which are two very different ends, I think everyone's very happy that that's over. I never liked trade deadline. It's a busy day. It's cool because you get to write a lot of stories, do a lot of TV, but it's not a day I enjoy because it's rarely a happy day. It's a very tense day.
And it was made more awkward the fact that Dalton Varsho went to a team in which the Jays were already playing. So you couldn't do out of sight, out of mind with Varsho.
No, you had to face him a few hours later, which is weird because Dalton's such a beloved teammate by a lot of guys. Like he's George Springer's little brother, essentially. And now suddenly he's over on the other team wearing orange. And then the Blue Jays get back Spencer Arrighetti in that deal, who is not just a Houston Astro, he's a Houston guy. Like he grew up there. He's an Astros fan. And he was talking about how he has a house in Houston. He wants to raise his kids there. And I'm thinking, oh man, like this is another layer that you don't always consider, but it's kind of like when Louis Varland got traded from Minneapolis last year and he's a mini guy. That's hard. It's tough. It will get easier for Arrighetti, and once you start to play games, it'll naturally take over. But there's a weird human side to all of this. And Dalton in the first two games, I mean, I just love a good story. I'm curious if he launches one today. We'll see. But Dalton's a good ad for Houston. They've been looking for an outfielder who can do anything. And Varsho, I think his defense is still in there. He's got to find it. And if he hits a few home runs, so be it. But it looks like he's going to get a playoff run now, which is pretty cool.
You get to talk to the players about the flight to Houston. I saw on social media, and this is pointed out by my daughters, that it was pretty emotional for the club.
Yeah, it sounds like kind of like piecing together the stories that they found out about the Kevin Gausman deal while they were flying, or at least that Gausman was being traded somewhere, and that's emotional among these teammates. Like it's hard to explain to people the bond that baseball players share because from the middle of February until October, ideally late October, you were together all day, every day. Like it's nothing close to coworkers. It's not like working in an office with people. You're together all day, every day. Like even among people who cover the game, like myself and the other writers who are usually on the road, it's a very strangely intimate relationship because you're showing up in different cities and you're just always there together. Weird hours in the morning, weird hours at night, together at dinner all the time. These baseball players spend more time with each other than their wives, than their kids for 8 months a year. Suddenly you have one of your buddies, one of your brothers taken out of that. And it's not like they're just being moved to another division in an office. They're being sent to another city. And in some ways, it's not your fault. I don't want to say that, but it's happening because you and your team have not won enough baseball games. So there's a lot of emotion tangled up in that. And it gets very heavy for a lot of these guys because you're not only losing teammates, it's finally an admission or an acknowledgement that, hey, like this team didn't do good enough. And the time for us to turn it around has kind of run out at the trade deadline. July 31 or August 3 this year for the deadline is when you have to declare to the rest of baseball who you're going to be. And the Jays this time had to say to the rest of baseball, we haven't done enough.
Mm-hmm. And Miles Straw is taking the torch handed to him as being an everyday center fielder. And boy, in the first game, makes a catch against the wall, hits a triple in his second game. He was responsible for all the Jays offense. I can't be happier for the guy.
Man, he's Barry Bonds now. This is something. I mean, Miles Straw, like, I watch Miles take batting practice every day because he is typically on the field very early for batting practice, right around where I get there. So for a 7 p.m. Eastern time game, I'll typically get there at 2:30-ish range. And that's the very early session of batting practice. Normally guys do it hours later, but it's typically just an empty stadium and Miles Straw taking BP. He has real power. Like, I know he has 4 career homers. He has real power, man. Like, especially for a guy built his size. He's not the biggest dude in the team, let me tell you, but real power. And he's trying to swing a lot harder this year and do more with it. He's going to play a ton, man, down the stretch. He's going to play a ton. And he has an interesting option for next year, $8 million option, and it's a $1.75 million buyout. So it's just over a $6 million decision if you're the Blue Jays. If that happened today, maybe it's on the side of declining just because of his offensive numbers. But if he can show down the stretch that he is more than just a defensive outfielder with some speed, like there's some offense in there, it's a real decision, honestly. I think so. And his value to the clubhouse, where I cannot overstate how important he is, that matters in all of this, especially when you're trading guys like Hoffman and Gausman. There's going to be a lot of turnover going into next year. You want the guys who keep the clubhouse close and who establish some of that culture. It's not something that happens easily. Like, if you try to create clubhouse culture, no, it's not going to happen ever. You need to let it happen naturally, and it has happened naturally and quite surprisingly with Miles Straw. So that's a precious thing. You've got to hold on to that. And if that means spending a couple $1 million more than you normally would for a player, so be it. It's really hard to find, and he's got it.
The Jays scored 2 runs in Tuesday night's game. Had they scored more, then the decision to leave Chad Dallas in longer would be questioned a lot more, because Chad Dallas gives up 2 runs after coming in for Trey Yesavage. We're going to get into the Yesavage injury in just a second. But the Jays come back and tie it. Are you not saying, Dallas, you did your job? Now we're going to hand it off to everyone. But he comes back out, and then the Astros blow the gates off the place. This team, their decision-making continues to baffle me.
Yeah, he stayed in longer than I thought, with Chad Dallas. When he came back out for that 3rd inning and going on, and the first 2 runs he allowed, runs are runs, but they did kind of sneak through the infield. Yeah. It wasn't the hardest hit stuff. I really like Chad Dallas as a pitcher. I really do. He had some prospect shine kind of 2 years back before Tommy John. I think he can be a big leaguer and maybe a useful one who bounces up and down and gives you some depth. But this is unfortunately just where the Jays are right now, with their bullpen being so gassed. Like, down the stretch, we're going to see some fresh names. We will, and it'll get a bit better. Rosters will expand in September. You'll get another guy in there. That'll help. But it's tough when a guy's asked to carry so much, man. Like, you're hoping for 6 or 7 innings out of Trey Yesavage, and then poof, you've got Chad Dallas in there playing the pitch as long as you can role, which is never enviable, because once you enter that territory, you're kind of accepting that eventually the wheels might fall off. When a guy comes in to pitch bulk innings, you typically don't pull the parachute when it still looks good. The job is typically, okay, just pitch as long as you can, and when it goes poorly, we'll come get you, right? So I don't envy that. I hope he gets to stick around and have a lot more opportunities, because I think he deserves them. Like, I think he can be a big leaguer. He's awful to face as a right-handed hitter with the breaking pitches he has. He's really tough on righties, I believe, but not enviable, man. It's the last spot I want to be in as a pitcher, is the guy taking over for an injured starter, because first thought in my head is I'm going to throw 70 pitches, and then they are going to give me a plane ticket to Buffalo, which is not always what you deserve.
I was one of about probably 100 people that sent you a text during the game last night, Keegs, as I tuned the game in, and I'm like, what, where the hell is Trey Yesavage, and what do you have on his injury?
It's a worrying one, Dan. He was warming up for the third inning, and I had my head down at my laptop. I don't watch guys warm up for innings. I've seen it enough. And suddenly John Schneider and the Blue Jays trainer are running out. I think, oh my God. And first worry is, did he feel something in his arm? Thankfully, no. It's his left knee. But what we got last night, Trey Savage is getting an MRI today. I doubt we'll get results today. It's probably another day or two. What we heard from John Schneider is that he felt a pinching, that's the word he used, a pinch in his knee, and that he wasn't able to stabilize it perfectly, which I don't love. Like that's not great. We saw the replay review from behind of him warming up. His knee kind of buckled on the first pitch, and on the second one, it was like there was a little wobble. Like he just wasn't sturdy. I don't love that. I hope it's nothing because I would love to see Trey Yesavage pitch a full season. Like just as a baseball fan, I want to see a guy be healthy and have a shot to reach his whole potential. And if Trey can get up to 140, 150 innings this year, that sets him up so well for a full year next year. So I hope he gets the shot to do that. But when you're talking about stability in a knee, that does worry me a little bit. So MRI today. We'll know soon. But yeah, the Blue Jays went to a 6-man rotation, Dan, and it lasted 2 innings. So it's they've got the guys, thankfully, but just brutal, man. More bad news in a season full of it.
If Trey Savage was my age, I would just tell him, "Oh, that happens to my one of my knees about 5 times a day. It's just old age."
He is unfortunately 23.
Yeah. Hey,
Less good.
we get to see Jameson Taillon on the hill today.
I'm interested in this, man. Like, first of all, like if Taillon is 34 now, I believe, so he's been around in the league for a while. But if you could build a pitcher in a factory, it is Jameson Taillon. Like he walked out in the dugout yesterday, and I was like, oh yeah, this is why you were a top pick in the draft. Okay, like the dude looks like a pitcher. And he's coming off a bad year with the Cubs, but his first 3 years with the Cubs were really good. You know, a lot of people remember him from his brief stop at the Yankees. He was also a top prospect when he came up with the Pirates. Like he's had some very good moments in this league. A lot of people know him from playing for Team Canada at the WBC as well. His parents are Canadian, so he had the passport through that. So there's some good Canadian ties as well. And he spent like a lot of time in Toronto. It's not the typical, fake Canadian where my grandma has a passport. Like he's really spent time around Toronto, knows the city well. So this is a cool one, man. And he is a pending free agent. So he's pitching for free agency at this point. But in 2022, I guess it would have been, before he signed his 4-year deal with the Cubs, the Blue Jays were interested. He talked about that yesterday. So if he looks good and everyone's happy, maybe there's interest on a short-term little deal for next year. Who knows? Maybe. But Taillon's a really interesting, really engaging, really open guy. Talking about how with the Cubs this year, he kind of got timid. He said that he was pitching kind of worried about what's the worst case scenario here. And he wants to get back to being aggressive. So there's a lot of like Chris Bassett, he throws 20 different pitches type of stuff to Jameson Taillon. And there's talent there, man. Like this is not a scrub who's just brought in to eat innings. Like this is Jameson Taillon. There's real talent with this guy. So interested to see him. Cool to have the Canadian connection. And especially if Yesavage is injured and missing time, I expect he'll miss some time. Taillon is going to pitch, man. Like he is going to make at least multiple starts here. And these are big ones for him with free agency coming up.
And with the Jays in the wild card hunt, baby.
They still are.
And then we get to see Soriano on Friday.
That'll be cool, man. Soriano, like we talked to him yesterday, like another really engaging guy. Like he was certainly caught off guard by coming to Toronto. If you are a trade candidate like he was, living in reality, I'm sure he's thinking like, oh, who's going to come out and will it be the Dodgers? Will it be the Brewers? Who's going to get? No, it's the team that's 4 games out of the wild card race in Toronto. But I think he's landed in a very good place, man. I really do. Like I think landing with Pete Walker and what he can do with this type of pitcher, like with hitting coaches or pitching coaches, I try not to judge the whole offense or the whole pitching staff off of them. That's impossible. I try to figure out the one thing they do well. Like what's their thing? And for Pete Walker and his staff, I think their thing is taking a really good established pitcher and finding a way just to crank it up a little bit. They did that with Robbie Ray back in the day. They did it with Gausman throughout his time here. At times they did it with Berrios. They've certainly done it with Dylan Cease. And that's the comp that I use here for Soriano. Not the same caliber of pitcher, not the same talent because there's only one Dylan Cease. Like there really is only one of them. But if you take a step down from that, Soriano throws 98, 99. He has a massive knuckle curve breaking ball that's really good, misses a lot of bats. So he has incredible talent, but he does walk a few guys. Okay, there's parallels to Dylan Cease here. So if you can get him in the zone and control him just a bit more, you can turn a really good pitcher into a really great pitcher. And you've got that for the next 2+ years. Like this is an exciting one. Like it's a really, really exciting debut. And if the Jays can just mess with his pitch mix a little bit, like you don't need to teach him any new tricks, but more of this pitch, less of this pitch. Let's try this here and this there. All the talent is there, man. Like really exciting project for the pitching staff.
You mentioned Robbie Ray. Remember the tight pants era?
They sure were tight. I do remember it because, man, did I write some stories about those tight pants. It was they probably did more readership than my best investigative work over the years. But those pants were tight.
Okay, how's your investigative work on this? Are we going to see Kevin Gausman in the makeup game against the Cubs on Thursday?
It doesn't look like it. I think he may be the next day, and I'm kind of glad, to be honest. I'd be interested from the Blue Jays standpoint, but as someone who just really respects and appreciates Kevin Gausman, I'm glad he doesn't have to go through that. You know, like it's enough on the guy when you get traded. You've got a couple young daughters and your wife with you who really love Toronto. Don't make the guy face Toronto his first time out. Like if Kevin Gausman was a jerk who I never sensed enjoyed his time in Toronto, I'd say sure. Like let the guy get a revenge game. I feel like Gauss would be out there with like tears in his eyes, apologizing to guys as he struck them out. So I think they avoid it, which is for the best for everyone, I think. And for Blue Jays fans looking for a playoff team to care about, man, like Gausman on the Cubs, that'll be pretty cool. Like he could be one of their game 1, 2, 3 starters. Like he already profiles as that if he's good. So it'll be a pretty interesting one.
And I just wanted to, before we leave here, because it's all over social media, the heir apparent to Derek Jeter has been found by the New York Yankees, and had a chat with a buddy who lives in New York, and he's like, I just feel bad for this kid because what he's doing right now, he hits a home run in his second big league at bat, turns a couple double plays, and now he has to spend the rest of his career trying to live up to that.
Man, it's hard to see another good thing happen to the Yankees, isn't it? They just they've always got another guy coming. Is it Anthony Volpe again, or is he Jeter? I don't know. It probably falls somewhere in the middle. But you wear that tag for so long, you know. It's. I almost wish that the Yankees, before Volpe came in and all of that, they had have just had like a veteran scrub on a 4-year deal or something. It's like in New England. Remember when Cam Newton played for the Patriots after Brady, and it was like, ugh. But it gave everyone an opportunity to watch their games, say, ugh, this is weird. And then by the time the next guy came along in Drake May, eventually you were like, oh, okay, like we're back to normal. Everyone's refreshed, right? So Lombard is a hell of a player, man, a hell of a player. We've seen the pressure that comes with that, though. He's a very Yankee prospect too. You know, you've got the Aaron Judge kind of, clean cut, yes sir, no ma'am type of thing with Lombard. That matters in New York, man. They've got that image as an organization. But we've seen it in Boston too, though, when Christian Campbell and Marcelo Meyer, Roman Anthony all came up. They were supposed to be the future, and it's a little different. There's a little more pressure in the AL East in these big markets. So we'll see. But the Yankees need it, man. Like, the Yankees without Judge are quietly kind of not inspiring me lately. And I think they'll cling to a wild card spot just because the wild card isn't very strong. But they need all the help they can get right now with Judge out and Stanton. I don't know when we'll see him again. So it's a little shaky in New York. And they didn't do much at the deadline either. Like I like the first baseman they added. They added some power. They didn't do as much as I thought they should have. It's a weird time in New York.
Here's the best thing about this story is the fact that his name sounds like a guy when a stat comes up. Oh, George Lombard Jr. back in the 1920 season did that. But no, he's George Lombard and he's playing in 2026.
They don't make many Georges
No.
anymore. Like even George Springer is a young George at 30. So like I'm on the other end of that. I've never met a Keegan older than me. Like I'm 35. Took me a second. I've never met an older Keegan than me. For a while I thought it was Keegan Michael Key, the actor, but that's a hyphenated Keegan Michael. I thought it was hyphenated Michael Key, but no, he's Keegan Michael. So I've never met an older Keegan. I don't know if he will meet a younger George. There's just like maybe if you go to like Britain or something, but there's just not a lot of new Georges.
No.
They don't make many of those at the factory.
No, the George factory is running low. Keegs, appreciate you, my friend.
You got it, Dan.